The New Orleans Hard Rock Cafe. What happened to the cafe? The building had collapsed over multiple things. Whether it was overstressing the beams, adding a new decking system with a higher gauge metal instead of a lower gauge metal. This in turn caused more stress to the beams, causing in the downfall of the building within a few days. The metal decking that they used was a steel 22 gauge decking instead of a lower one such as a 18 or a 17. This causing the steel beams to be 26 feet apart from each other put enormous strain on them because they were only originally supposed to be 20 to 23 feet away from each other. 23 feet and 7 inches was the max they could possibly be from each other before they would fail, pretty much. So the fact that they pushed it to 26 was a guaranteed fail. The image you now see is an image showing how we had the steel beam in the middle with the steel columns, the thin decking of the 22 gauge, and concrete on top of the steel decking, which was supposed to be like the roof. It shows the anvils which are pushing down, showing the 26 feet of the length from the steel column to the steel beam. This showing that it was dipping, causing a fail in the thin decking to then cause a fail in the steam beam. If they were to use two steam beams, equal parts from the steel columns, this would not have happened, and they would have had been resolved and would have had as much stress on the thin decking as well as the metal beam. The 22 gauge was so thin that it could not support the weight that it was required to hold. It was supposed to hold the concrete that they had just poured plus weight of, say, a few thousand people, because it was supposed to be the 17th floor. While this building was supposed to be an 18-story building. Thus, the steel beams that they used for the 16th through the 18th floor, they had changed from the original 15. Where in the floor plan, you can see that they went with the option B for the 16th and 17th floor, which consisted of the thinner steel beams, the thinner steel columns, and the 22 gauge steel decking. The failure on the 16th floor was because they reduced the size and thickness of the steel beams as well as the steel columns, causing the beams to fail and fall due to them not testing them before using them. The reasoning of the decrease in the thickness and size of the steel beams were because they wanted to reduce the cost of the material, not thinking of repurposing the floors as well, because they had stuck to the original plan with the increased size and thickness of the steel beams, so they had not made a new floor plan for the reduced size and thickness, causing them to overlook that. They also didn't think that the steel beams would fail due to them being the same steel typing as the steel below them. If they were to test the strength and toughness of the new steel beams, they wouldn't have overlooked the issue of the reduction causing the fail. They would have had more time to prepare and test the steel beams as well as the 22 gauge decking. They would have been able to troubleshoot, they would have been able to see what they would have to do to use that material instead of resorting back to their option A, which was the normal sizing. In the end, this caused the building to fall because the steel beams were not profound enough with their toughness, and they bent, causing the concrete to then bend and break the 22 gauge steel, as well as causing the building to fall and crumble down.